All right, we should be live. Sorry, I'm just a little disorganized this morning. Just bear with me. I think Richard Allen is playing a victim game to make himself seem smarter than everyone around him. He didn't think he'd get caught and worked right across the street from the trailhead for years. Yeah, I agree with that. If he is a psychopath, that's what they most think. They think they're smarter than everybody. Sees through. I can see Rick's team trying to continue this first. They just got him into county. They will delay to keep him there, in my opinion. Well, I feel like I'm the only one, the last holdout when it comes to Richard Allen pleading guilty. I say most likely during the first week of trial, no later than the 21st. Good to see you, Jill. Audra. Members, any of you who were trying to join the members only live stream a few minutes ago, a little bike ride with Sleuth. Sorry about that. That was my fault. I guess I had the little phone clip hitting on the volume down button, and it was causing my headphones to disconnect and my phone to overheat. So I did figure out what the hell was going on. My bad. So I'm still a little bit winded, but so that's the poll question for today. Do you agree with me that Richard Allen will plead guilty before October 21st? So far, we've had 35 votes, 66 say no. So you think he's going to go and go through the trial process? I'm more convinced than ever that he will plead guilty. All right. So I've had a few folks reach out to me who work at CVS. This is the official box cutter that they get. So this is most likely the weapon that he was carrying. So I wonder if this design could create like a serrated looking wound. Maybe we'll do some experiments with one. What's up, Dave G? So I've had 3 different people who work at CVS across the country. They tell me this is what they use. And we use these at Walgreens. Use these from my warehouse days. And of course, you would upgrade to something much more efficient, but Audra says, I really don't know. Miranda, hello. Good to see you, Miranda. And welcome everybody back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. Good to see you. Just got done with a little bike ride. Tried to go live for members only, but I screwed that up. So I do apologize. But I got in my little workout for the day, so I feel good. If that really is the weapon, it throws out all thoughts of premeditation for me. Yep, me too. It's just something that he had on him, or something that he could just grab from the console of his vehicle. What's up, Brad? The poll results are shocking. Why? In which way? You think that he'll plead guilty? I think they'll make it through jury selection, maybe the opening statements, and then that first weekend. I think that'll be it. TC, he confessed over 60 times. I think he wants to tell a story. So do I. You know, it's not like he's spending any money. So he's going to let them do whatever they do, you know, while he sits back playing the victim. But he doesn't want to outright confess because he still thinks he can get off on a technicality, like the bullet, for example. I don't think he thinks he can get off. I think once he officially confesses, sits down with investigators and says, like, look, this is what I did. This is how it happened. This is why I did it. Then it's real. It becomes real to his wife, daughter, and mother. I think that's all he cares about. Happy Sunday to you, Brad. Thank you. We use those at grocery store in Brookston also. Okay. Miranda, what about the gun? What about it specifically? Until a few days ago, I was convinced that Richard Allen would agree to a plea, but now I'm not sure. Why? What changed for you? Sorry, guys. I'm still a little out of breath. I don't know. I feel like this blade could create some kind of a serrated effect, kind of with the way that it, I think maybe the skin could jam up into this area here. Might even pinch the skin a little bit as it's cutting it, creating like a jagged effect. But we can run a test. I'll get my hands on one of these and we'll see if we can test it out. Big Bird, your comments aren't getting deleted. It's on a 30-second delay. You can only leave comments every 30 seconds. That keeps from people spamming the comment section. What's up, Delulu? Ziggy? Robin B. What's up, Vic? Vic says, nah, he definitely knows he could still get off on a technicality. Well, what technicality? Which technicality are you referring to? And why would pleading guilty now be dumb? He's not. It's not like he's a smart person. If he's the killer, you know, we're not dealing with some smart guy. What's up, Cheeks? That it wasn't premeditated because he may have only had a box cutter and a gun. Yeah, we now know that that was, you know, he has a weapon. He could have been carrying that all the time. Maybe every time he went to those trails, he had it on him. And maybe he just had the box cutter in his jacket from work. For all we know, he never made, maybe he worked on the 12th and never went home. He's riding some kind of a high. What's up, Melissa? Ben Dallas. Who still thinks Richard Allen is the bridge guy? I do. Tell me why you don't. if you think you can. Hey, what's up, Don Spain? Good to see you. Sensei, welcome in. Crime Jester. He's going to plead. Yep, I'm more convinced than ever. And I seem to be the only one. There were a few folks that did agree with me. They don't seem to agree with me anymore. But I still do. More so than I did before. What's up, Brandon? Richard Allen is bridge guy, says Brandon.
Dance, baby.
TJ says, I just don't know why you'd plea without a plea deal. Yeah, he'll most likely get a deal. He'll get a plea bargain. He doesn't need one. He could still plead out regardless. But yeah, it'll most likely be some type of a deal. I mean, look at the jacket. Look at that. Look at the jacket on that guy. This is about 2 months before the murder. Before the murders of Abby and Libby. It's that poofy blue jacket. So we're talking about the guy who admitted to being there right around the times the girls were kidnapped. And this is about 2 months before the murders. Notice that really it's like a poofed out sleeve. And that's what we're seeing right there. Over my right shoulder is that poofy sleeve. I'm not saying that makes him guilty because he has a poofy blue jacket. But isn't that what we're looking for? And it's not like we're looking at a video from 2018 or 2014. We're talking 2 months before the murders. This guy is seen in multiple videos wearing that jacket around Thanksgiving and around Christmas time. Nixon says he's not prepared for all the evidence against him to be broadcasted in front of his mom and Kathy. Yeah, exactly. We got to get into the mind of this guy. You can't think logically. You just can't. Dave G. Richard Allen is the bridge guy. I think so. This was in November. Poofy jacket. Same color as what the bridge guy's wearing. We're not talking about just some random guy that we found on Facebook. We're talking about the guy that backed into the CPS building, that law enforcement is saying that they have him on video, or a vehicle they believe belongs to him, passing by the Hoosier Harvest store. And he's pretty much admitted that that's him. Like, yeah, I was there on the trails. It doesn't make me a killer. But I mean, look at the jacket that he's wearing. It's identical. And I don't think it's a Carhartt jacket, even though at one point I did. So hopefully they're going to ask Richard Allen, like, hey, what'd you do with, where's this jacket? I guarantee this jacket is long gone. Long gone. This is the one that stands out to me the most. Because when you look at Richard Allen, the one thing that you notice first, he has a very specific type of nose. Very rounded at the end. Melissa says, but I don't think it was planned. I think he had a bad day and snapped. I think he was having a bad few months. I think he was alone that day. I don't even know if he even made it home. I feel like it was probably a continuation from the night before, well into the morning. That's why he was dressed the way he was. It may not have been very cold that morning, but the night, that the night before it was. Why was he going to the trails? Honestly, I think he was under the influence. Alcohol, maybe some type of drug. And he was feeling cooped up. Maybe even a little pissed off that when he showed up to the trails, he didn't realize it was a snow day. Like, what the hell are all these kids doing here? Nobody's supposed to be on the trails. Maybe it was even a little upset. Like, all I want to do is cross the bridge, go beneath the bridge, and be high. Or be alone. No, maybe he was even a little having thoughts of hurting himself. Welcome in, Jibbo. Miss Dog Lover. Crime Jester Sleuth. I missed last night's live, and you nailed it with Criminality and Fiend with regards to the question of their source as to why they think Allen's rights have been violated. Yeah, the only people screaming that is Richard Allen and his defense team. You had to make us suffer the screeching. What screeching is that? Maybe at the very beginning, but I changed my mind as time went on. Vic says there's still a small possibility one silly juror could be convinced or unsure, so he'd rather roll the dice on that small chance than plead. You're thinking logically. Yeah, very angry. I'm picking up a lot of anger, some rage, frustration. At the end of his rope, why hurt myself when I can hurt these people? I can point my frustration right at them. I don't know, TJ. I really don't know. I'm sure they can give him something, but I don't think he needs anything. I think just not going through the trial process and putting his family through that is enough for him. And now that we're getting down to crunch time and he's thinking about having to go down to the crime scene and how real everything is getting, he's losing control completely. And what is psychopaths? What do they need? They need to have control. Kate B, how are you? Yeah, I do have the bird video. Let's watch it. I have it somewhere. I think the one I have is slow motion. I think I have it. Just give me a second. Did I move it into the file? I might have moved it over here to today's file. Nope. I hate when I do that.
You need to stop. You need to stop. I need to stop. But you know what? I'm not going to. It's going to be a really long day. Oh, God.
So this is December, just 2 months before the murders. And there we have Richard Allen, the guy who was at the trails at the time the girls were kidnapped, wearing very similar to what we see in the Bridge Guy video, right? And I mean, we've struggled to find a jacket that was like that. I mean, with those poofy ass sleeves. Well, look no further. And I'm not saying having a blue jacket with poofy sleeves makes you a killer or makes you the bridge guy, but I mean, come on. It's right there in front of us. And I don't know what the hell that is on the ground. I mean, it almost appears to be a bird. But I really don't know. Oh, yeah. You can kinda see the beak right here. I don't know, do they have those kind of birds? I mean, what kind of bird is that? Right there, it kinda does look like a bird, like a white bird. Kinda have a beak here, an eye, 2 wings, and then the tail kinda bent forward, but I'm really not sure. The cat's very interested in it. Yeah, that laugh is disturbing to me. I agree with you. Hey, she warrior. So here's the original Facebook, post from his wife. So this is what you see, and then you would click here, and then that video would play. Notice the date, December 6th, 2016. So 2 months before the murders, you have Richard Allen wearing that very same jacket. Well, actually, she says it's from Thanksgiving. So we have him all the way from Thanksgiving through November and December wearing that jacket. So this is another one from November of 2016. They were doing some Christmas shopping, and apparently he didn't want to sit around or walk around the mall anymore. And she sneaks up on him. There's that jacket. This poofy blue jacket. And that nose, right? To me, that is this nose here. It's this one. If you're going to notice anything, that's it. Audra says, I've been to that bar. I even left rocks there. I painted that had pictures of Libby took and girls' pics on it. I also left them at the CVS when I got my meds. The ones from CVS always disappeared. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if he was responsible for that. Like he couldn't handle it. Regis, I believe Richard Allen might be the bridge guy, but not to the extent that I would say it wasn't planned. BG must have known Abby and Libby were going to be there. BG walked quickly past 3 teens. Water level low. Abby and Libby were targeted. I'm not saying that they weren't. I just haven't seen any solid proof of that. And I don't think they need to be targeted for what he did that day. He just needs to be going through a really rough patch, unable to control his own behavior, be extremely frustrated and ticked off for whatever reason, aim all of his frustration right at those two girls. Maybe he was even wanting to get to the other side of that bridge. But I really wouldn't doubt it if there were some kind of drugs involved. You know, maybe some meth, um, something like that. Maybe even a high quantity of alcohol. Kate B says Kathy stopped wearing her ring. I can't picture her sitting through a trial, seeing and hearing the details of Richard's crime. She'll leave. The jury will notice. Well, apparently he admitted to using a box cutter. Now, when they start listening to these confessions and he's going through, detail after detail about the crime flow and exactly what happened, he doesn't have to take the stand. They're going to be able to go through those transcripts, even hear the recorded calls of what he told to his wife and mom. I just don't see him going through all of that. I don't see it, guys. I feel like he's going to take either a plea deal or he's going to change his plea. I mean, look at these poofy ass jacket. Look at that poofy sleeved jacket. You know, you had people scouring every Facebook. Every individual that lived in Delphi, we were looking for that jacket. There it is. Look at that. Okay, so we have the guy who owns almost an identical jacket to that. This looks nothing like Ron Logan's jacket. I'm sorry, guys. And the dude was wearing it on camera the day after the murders. That's ridiculous. So the same guy that's been wearing this in November, December, all the way through the end of 2016, the exact same jacket, admitted to being there at the time the girls were kidnapped. Now you can argue and say, "Oh, well, he said he left at 1:30." I haven't seen anything to back that up. We have to take Dan Doolin at his word that he said he was there between 1:30 and 3:30 and parked at the CPS building. He called it the old Farm Bureau building. But we know what he meant. You can go ahead and try to convince yourself, oh, he meant the actual old Farm Bureau building that's like 2 miles away, and hiked through the, under the highway and through the forest near the creek. I mean, you can go ahead and tell yourself those kind of lies if you want to. And I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know if this is his hoodie. I don't know if that is a holster. Could be a holstered gun inside of his hoodie. But to me, it appears like a holster. And with the size of that jacket, when he was walking the trails, he could have easily just had that jacket over the top of the holster. I remember people saying, oh, well, he has a kill kit. Look. No, he just has this poofy ass jacket. He loves this jacket. Looks like he has another hoodie on underneath it and maybe a t-shirt wrapped around his face. T-shirt or a scarf. And the box cutter could have been in his pocket, in his jacket pocket from the day before. But yeah, could he have lured the girls there? Could he have been targeting them? Yes. Do we have anything to back that up? No. Because everything that we think we had to back that up was the way it appeared to be premeditated. I just don't believe that anymore. I believe that we were dealing with a troubled man. He was going, in his mind, he was going through a lot, things that he couldn't cope with. For example, not only did his daughter move out, right around his birthday, which I think is September 9th. So in September of 2006, his daughter leaves. Well, first she announces that she's getting married to a guy. And then she moves out. She doesn't wait to get married. She's just, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. So that's right around his birthday. And then on the 27th, I believe, his brother-in-law, Kathy Allen's brother, who from what I gathered, loved him dearly, adored him. That's what everybody that I've been able to speak with, that's what they tell me. So if he is a psychopath, he's not going to understand that. He's not going to understand what she's going through. So here she's telling us, giving us signs of maybe some kind of manic episode or going through a bipolar situation here. Mad, happy, sad, happy, sad. This tells me bipolar here. November 22nd, 2016. So right around the time that he's wearing this blue jacket, going through what I like to call stressors. A lot of these killers who aren't serial killers, that's their excuse. I don't know why I did it. I was really stressed out. I've been having I fantasize about killing, raping. I fantasize about sexual assault. So when they're going through these quote unquote stressors, and there's somebody who has been fantasizing about murder and sexual assault, that fantasy world just seems to kind of spill out. And I could be wrong, guys. I'm not an expert. This channel has just been created so that you guys can have your opinion. And unfortunately, you have to sit through mine. That's the price you pay. Thank you, Julia. Let's go to a super chat. He was just carrying around a box cutter. Yep. Anybody that's worked at Walgreens, warehouse, everybody that I talked to that worked at CVS, I mean, these things are laying around. So he could it could have been in the, let's say, a pocket inside of his jacket. I think it's more likely that he intentionally brought the box cutter instead of a knife. Easier to dispose of and harder to link back to a specific person. Could be right. Let's go to another super chat by Sensei. Her screeching. Oh, I thought that's what you meant, but I didn't want to assume. Kate B says Richard has 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Yeah, he has family that he doesn't even know from his father that he didn't really have a relationship with. Julie says, I don't think he's going to plead guilty. Robin says, Sleuth, during Richard Allen's trial, will Richard Allen be asked to say down the hill? He doesn't have to testify. But if he does, I think they will ask him that. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. Hey, what's up, Mark? Purple, welcome in. Yeah, that's true. But the thing about confessions, I mean, context is everything. Yeah, Patty, drugs and alcohol. What's up, Frankie? This case has so many twists and turns. It's maybe inevitable that the trial will be as chaotic. He may stand up and just confess to make them stop showcasing what he did in front of his mother. I mean, I think I have a pretty good idea of who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with somebody who has to have control, and he has one step left. He has one choice left if he wants to keep that control, and that's to plead guilty. Whether that's with some kind of a bargain or a deal or whatever, that's it. I spared the families, I spared my wife and daughter the pain of the trial. I did that. And you can see him already kind of acclimating. Right? He's used to it now. Yeah, half siblings. And then he has some family through marriage. He's the kind that will take a plea because of control. Yep, that's where I'm at with it, crime, Jester. And spend the rest of his life jerking people around with bits and pieces of details. Yeah, they call that cat and mouse. It's something that psychopaths do. They love to play cat and mouse. You know, they'll dangle pieces in front of you. And that's all he has left. And I agree with you on that. Yep, I agree. Good to see you, caricature. Gibble says, "Why is no one bothered about Ricky's rights to have some humanity?" Yeah, and he should have his humanity. We all deserve that. I don't care how violent of the crime you've committed. Like earlier today, I was watching a video, and this happened just a few days ago. This young person, I think he was like 18 or 19, he was pulled over. I mean, his girlfriend was a minor, so that makes him a sex offender. They found all kinds of drugs in the car. You can tell that he was dealing. I mean, he looked like a knucklehead. He had a fake AR style, like BB gun type rifle right next to him. And apparently, the car was reported as being stolen in a carjacking. He probably used that fake gun to do it. And they arrested him. They put him in the back of the police car, and he was kicking the door. He wouldn't stop kicking the door, and the officer told him, like, you need to stop kicking the door, or I'm going to hog tie you. Well, instead of hog tying him after he wouldn't stop kicking the door, he took one of those pepper ball guns and at point blank range aimed it at his face and shot him right in the eye. Almost took his eye out. Like, I understand the frustration the cop was feeling, but you can't lower yourself to their level. So now the cop is in prison too. He's in jail for assault. So he has to have his humanity. Everybody in our system deserves that humane treatment. Because we're not monsters. We're just here to take these people off of the streets, you know, when they do something wrong like that, make sure that they're confined and they get due process. We're not going to waterboard them. We're not going to slice off their hands for stealing something at the grocery store. We're not going to be that kind of a person. We're going to be better. So he definitely deserves his humanity just like everybody else. The question is he being treated inhumanely and being put in a prison for safekeeping? I just disagree. I don't feel like that falls under that category. But once again, that's just my opinion. All right. So the day that Rick was flopping around like a fish, December the 11th, this is what his wife said on Facebook. Hubby and I had a great night shooting pool and spending time together at our local bar. And one of us finally got brave enough to sing karaoke for the first time ever and wasn't even drunk. And my husband has the moves like Jagger. So when I see them acting the way that they're acting and they're not drunk, to me that tells me they're under the influence of something else. What do you guys think? They're not drunk.
Dance, baby.
I could be wrong. I mean, you guys be the judge. Hey, Chopper, I don't think he will plead. The man has convinced himself it wasn't him. I think he did convince himself that he could get away with it. But once he got caught, I think he just slowly started to fall apart. Trisha says, did you know his family lived like a street over behind the Kleins when they were in high school? Yeah, I did know that. Well, not his. Wasn't his family. Kathy's family did. But he did live just a street over from Keegan's cousin. Was it? Yeah, his cousin. Somebody that he was close with, actually in Mexico, Indiana. She needs to stop. That's funny. Okay, so December the 11th, you have the older looking version of Richard Allen and the younger version. Same day. All he did here was look down with his jacket off, jacket on, looking up in the light. So let's say you're a Betsy Blair, you're walking, you take one quick glimpse. You're not looking for some predator. You're just walking and you notice this guy. You turn around like, okay, I'm not going on the bridge. There's a guy there. I'll go about my business. 2 days later, you're trying to give you're trying to give a description of the best that you can. The best that you can recall. And that was even at 50 feet away. So this is what 50 feet looks like. So this group of people, they're standing 50 feet away from the cameraman, according to the description. And of course, we did our little experiment, and that's how I got the distance and the size of Mark Wahlberg. Was I based it off of this photograph here? So that's what he would have looked like to Betsy Blair. Now imagine seeing that just for a quick, like a moment or two. And then 2 days later, you're giving a description. Trisha says that's not him. If it's the one from their backyard, that's his wife posted on Facebook. Well, you're thinking of a different photo. You're thinking of the one where they're lighting fireworks. That's the one that Jonathan Lee Riches posted, which was actually Johnny Boy Walker, who passed away. And that was an old video. You're thinking of that one. So you can't just go around putting stuff like that in the chat when you don't really know what you're talking about. But you're kind of right. The one you're referring to, basically when Richard Allen was arrested, everybody went to Kathy Allen's Facebook. They grabbed all of these images and one of the videos that they posted, and it might still be up. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think JLR removed it. But it's just funny that everybody's like, oh, you're wrong, Sleuth, you're wrong. You know, everybody wants to prove me wrong, and I don't know why. I don't care if I'm wrong. It's okay. But at least double check what you're about, you know, double check yourself. Yeah, I found it here. Okay. So this is the video that you're talking about. This was the first video that came out. It was the day that Richard Allen, they said, hey, they caught the guy. I'm pretty sure his name is Richard Allen. And then JLR put this video out. And they said, oh, there's Richard Allen. They wanted to compare him to the bridge guy. But that's Kathy's brother, the guy who passed away in September of 2016. Frankie says, criminality spends hours and hours explaining how corrupt the police are and how weak the evidence is, then covers her ass with, I don't know if he's innocent or guilty. Well, it's not what people say, it's what they do. And that goes for me too. Wouldn't you choose a child killer over Rick Snay? I don't know what he has to do with anything. Like, this isn't about other content creators and what they do. Let's just start there. They can do whatever they want. But that's the way I look at everything. Doesn't matter what people say, it's what they do. If that is the one from their backyard, that is not him. Didn't we already see that? Kate B. I bet Ricky freaked out when he received a message from Murder Sheet saying Kathy left him. Did they send him a message? That's crazy. They actually they're communicating with Richard Allen. That's interesting. I would like to see that. Did they put it up on one of their podcast episodes? Yeah, Trisha, that's the one. Here was a good image that I captured. Pretty kind of looks like Richard Allen. It's all about that nose. Vic says, "Do you think Kathy will do public interviews once it's all said and done?" I think if the money is right, there's going to be a lot of news agencies out there that'll pay her a pretty penny. Hopefully, my only advice to her is like I wouldn't do it for free because she's going to get dragged over the coals. I agree with that, Melissa. I think Brian Koberger is more of like a serial killer type. This chat is not becoming a place for people to bully others. If you guys want to do that, take it to the Discord. Yeah, and mods, we don't allow that. We're not going to talk about other creators. It's not something we do. And especially don't attack each other. The one thing about my channel is that you're allowed to have your opinions. You just can't attack each other. You can't act like trigger trolls. You can't attack the family members. But you're welcome. If you're here to support Richard Allen, we'll hear you out. You're going to catch a lot of criticism. That's for sure, but we definitely will hear you out. And you're allowed to speak your mind with that. But we don't talk about other creators, or we don't have time for that. Because we don't care about, we hear a lot about like the troll farm and stuff like that. Like, what troll farm? We just hit the block button and then we keep going. We're here to talk about facts. We're here to state our opinions. We're here to have a open dialogue. Peace. If you're going to act like a triggered troll, I mean, like I said, this isn't the place for you. Members come, members go. One thing we're not going to do is act out of pocket, out of character. So if you can't follow that, then we don't want you around. It's that simple. Yeah, Purple Amaryllis. He doesn't have that jacket. he says that he owns a Carhartt jacket because he's going to say that that's what he was wearing. Like, I still have the jacket. Go check it out. But that's not the jacket. I don't think he's wearing a Carhartt jacket. That's not what he's wearing right there. Unless they make one like that. I haven't seen them. Hey, what's up, Teresa? Welcome in. Anyone ever thought he might be impotent, and made him feel like less of a man? I don't. Where are you getting that from? I know that that's used as an excuse from a lot of serial killers. They say, "Well, why'd you kill that girl, or why'd you kill the prostitute, the sex worker?" Oh, well, I was having problem getting an erection, and she made fun of me. I just don't see those young girls even thinking about that. They're not worried about that. They're not like, ha ha ha. You know, I think they had bigger problems. Stephanie, did you all hear Greeno's live last night? No. No, I did not. Brandon says he will plea to a lesser degree. I'm not quite sure what Nick will offer him, And honestly, if trial starts, they may take any type of a deal right off the table. So his window might be closing. I just don't know what there is to offer him. And then again, maybe he doesn't need to be offered anything. Just the fact that he's not going to have to sit through that trial might be enough for him. I mean, he's delayed it 2 years, guys. Maybe that was his goal. I just want to delay it, this 2 years until I can kind of wrap my head around it. That might be what he was thinking. Yeah, it was kind of like a bluish green. Here, I can pull it up. Excuse me.
Down the hill. 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 Down the hill.
Yeah, Jibbo, you're welcome to come back. But I mean, if you can't keep your shit together, I mean, we're not going to shed any tears. And Cheeks has been with me a long time, so if you're fucking with her, you're already going to piss me off. So, but I always say, get in where you fit in. Did Greeno say he was going to kill somebody again? Chopper. Yeah, whose kid is he going to kill this time? Dave G says Kathy had to know that the bridge guy is her husband. Yeah, I think she did know it. I think that some of Richard Allen's friends knew it, but I think they were just confused. They were confused by the new direction presser. They were confused by the fact that he had come forward, that he had spoken with police right away. Like, he was really smart to do that. And I bet you that that's what he thought, for the longest time until they came knocking at his door like, "Man, I'm really smart. I'm getting away with this." That could have energized him for those first, for these first 2 years. Like, I might be able to get away with this. But prison just breaking him down, needing to get it off his chest, you know, having nobody to talk to, because I doubt that he told anybody. Gave details to how the crime went down, supposedly from Rick's confessions. I won't repeat here as I do not know if the family are watching. Well, we heard the testimony of Nick McClelland, the cross examination. It was Dawn Perlmutter who was brought in by the defense as a consultant. She's an expert on ritual crime and symbols and stuff like that. She's not an expert on Odinism or anything, and she doesn't really know a whole lot about blood spatter. But during the cross examination, Nick kind of spilled the beans on a lot. He talked about the knife, he talked about the confessions, or not the knife, but the box cutter. What else did he say? Oh, he talked about sexual assault being that part of the confession, but that it wasn't part of the crime, but it was the motivation. So, I mean, he let the cat out of the bag. And we read that whole transcript. So if you guys want to go see it, I mean, I have it. I went through the whole thing. It took us 3 hours to go through it all. If he hadn't confessed and put himself there, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. So would I. Because it's not like we can do our own comparison of the unspent bullet. It's just one of those things we'd have to wait for trial so they can argue that. But the fact that he's there, we have all of these videos from Kathy's Facebook right around the time of the murders, and we're looking for this strange blue jacket. And lo and behold, Richard Allen's arrested. We go to her Facebook, and guess who's wearing that blue jacket? This guy. Hey, what's up, Road Dog? I think the dark beanie he is wearing, just like the one he played pool in. Yeah, it could be with the hood pulled over. You might be right. Be interesting to see if he or his wife had any extramarital affairs, especially if she did, because no intimacy in the marriage anymore. I mean, there's a lot of stupid rumors that are going around locally, but it's all they are, rumors. What's up, Charlotte? Welcome in. I mean, they seemed happy. They seemed very close. Every video of him playing pool, they're together. So right now, that kind of stuff's just rumors. But never know. These details might come out later on. But I still feel like he's going to go ahead and plead guilty. And if I had to guess, I would say after the first week, after jury selection, maybe the opening statements, and then that weekend following that, he'll make his decision. Caricature, was Richard Allen abusive to his daughter? I haven't seen anything about that. Is that true or just a theory? Anyone know? It's just a theory. He could be a sicko, a closet sicko. But yeah, maybe. But I mean, I'm not going to put that out there. I don't know. Frankie, I mean, if his wife had an affair, he'd be hard pushed to even the score being 5-4 and largely unattractive. He wouldn't be laden with offers. Nixon, I'm not sure if it was bipolar. Grief is a messy thing. Yeah. And he's not, and if he's a psychopath, and I don't know that, but that's what I think. I think that we're dealing with somebody who was a psychopath. He wouldn't understand what she was going through. He wouldn't understand the emotional roller coaster that she's on. All he sees is that she's being distant. She's maybe beginning to call off work. Maybe she's going through a depression. She's sleeping in a lot. And he's like, I want my wife back. He doesn't understand the grief. He's not going through the same type of grief. He doesn't get it. All he knows is that he's losing his wife. He's lost his daughter. He's lost his brother-in-law, and now his wife is becoming distant. Poor me. My world is falling apart. Hey, what's up, Rain Dancer? Menopausal. What's going on down Spain? 30 years is a long time, so I'm just guessing. Yeah, I think he was just going through a really hard time, and he decided to take it out on 2 innocent girls. That's another trait of a psychopath. They'll take all their anger out on easy targets, and people will say, well, there's 2 of them. Well, I guarantee they weren't as easy as he thought, but when he saw them struggling to cross that bridge, these 2 young girls, in his mind, he was thinking easy target. It just didn't work out the way he expected it to, I don't think. More resistance than he thought he was going to be up against. What's up, Fretless? I would think it's normal to carry a knife, a box cutter not so much. Yeah, that's why he kind of fits the profile, because I've had people reach out to me that work at CVS, and all of them who don't know each other go, this is the box cutter. And it was the one I showed you guys earlier, this one. They all sent me the same one. And these are what we had at when I worked at Walgreens. That was a long time ago. But yeah, these were laying around all over in the warehouse. There was just a huge box of these that you could just grab them. And I used to just take them home. I had these laying all over my truck. I had maybe 1 or 2, in my apartment at the time. But this is the official box cutter of the CVS. And I feel like it's possible that this could leave like a serrated type wound. Just because you have 3 layers of metal here. I don't know. I feel like maybe skin can get pinched in here and create some kind of a weird zigzag effect. Hey, thank you, Alex. Zoe, that was very nice of you. Grandma Saurus. That isn't bipolar. That is a woman dealing with thinking society hates her for being married to a monster. The judgment people have on her for not realizing he was the monster. Well, that comment was made before the murders. It was made before the murders and about 2 months after her brother had passed. But I'm sure that's what she's feeling like now. CJK says he's rolling the dice. So are you guys participating in the poll? Please do. All right. The question for the poll is, do you agree with me that Richard Allen will plead guilty before October 21st? So I think it's possible that they'll go through the jury selection, maybe even opening statements, and then that weekend, um, maybe even the following Monday, we'll hear that he's taking a bargain or he's changing his plea. So right now, 42% of you agree with me, 58% say no. And I may be the only person now that thinks that because it's crunch time. We're hearing about the jury going down to the crime scene. We're hearing about, all of this information. But remember, guys, I've been covering hundreds of cases. And a lot of these cases, you have people who take a plea deal day one of the trial, the first week of the trial. And I'm not talking just one or two cases. I mean, we're talking a lot of cases where they'll take a plea deal. Melissa, well, say it's him. You think he feels bad at all for what he did? I do. I think it's possible. I think it's possible that he does feel bad or bad for the situation that he's caused, or maybe even bad about the situation that he's in. But as far as any remorse, I just don't know. I don't know if he's capable. Hey, TJ, thank you. Got to pay sleuth tax. Thanks for always being a great place to discuss the case. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Julia says he'd be smart not to testify. I agree with that. I don't know, Miranda. I've been hearing that question a lot. Can he be forced to do a voice comparison analysis? I don't think so. He could plead the fifth. He does not have to testify. But if they have any voice samples, I wonder if that would be enough. Welcome in, Andrew. Law enforcement took a black hoodie with some artwork in white on the front. I think it was Chris with MOB. Oh, yeah, the fox. I don't know what color it was. I think it may have even been brown. But yeah, Chris from MOB, he did. He tried to do a comparison, thinking that this right here, somewhere, yeah, right there, that little white object was the fox symbol. It was pretty close. You might be right. But I just don't see Richard Allen keeping any of this clothing. I think it's all gone. I would ask him, like, where's the jacket? That's why he told him, well, I was wearing a Carhartt jacket, because he still has the Carhartt jacket. He doesn't have this jacket, in my opinion. Yeah, I get you. And one of the witnesses said he had a coat on, so that would be the blue jacket, and then a hoodie underneath with the hood up, and his face covered, which is very strange. What's up, Rowing? Sees through. Need one juror. Look how many free Rick people on YouTube. Well, those people, they were already biased. All these Richard Allen cheerleaders, if you look at their history, they have a history of blaming Ron Logan, and they have a history of talking badly about Carrie Timmons, Kelsey German, Mike Patty. So they seem to be a certain kind of a person. They don't trust law enforcement, and me, I don't trust them at all. Like, I'm not pro law enforcement. I'm borderline that I despise them, but I know that that's just a small percentage of law enforcement that I'm referring to. I don't look at the entire system and say it's corrupt, you know. A lot of these folks, they're anarchists. And so when they hear things like the defense come out and say, well, Richard Allen's he's being mistreated, they're already biased and they lean towards that. But one thing that they all have in common is that they speak badly about the victims' families. And they have a thing for Ron Logan. Same with and that goes for a lot of cases, even like with the Brian Koberger case and the Idaho 4. Go look over there. They're doing the same thing with Brian Koberger. They're, you know, they're bad mouthing the victims' families and they think Brian Koberger's innocent. It's just it's like a personality test. Yeah, it guarantee it's palpable by now, especially if there's a lot more discovery that shows it's true. Yeah, and if they're going to go through these confessions where he's giving details, and his wife has to sit through that, he's not going to do that unless I'm wrong, and he does have some kind of remorse for what he did, and there's nothing he can do to turn it back. I don't know. I figured if you would have remorse, you would tell the truth. At least by now. Now the only reason he would plead guilty is because he wants control. Because after that, he gets to play cat and mouse, you know, with all these reporters, all these people that are writing him, dangling the facts in front of them, putting on that superficial charm. You know, why did you do it, Rick? Then he gets to tell his story the way he wants to. Now he's going to be in total control. That's the future that that's the only future that he has left. A caricature of Kathy took the stand. It didn't look good for public image and help Abby and Libby. Yeah, she won't. She doesn't have to. I don't think she will, though. I could be surprised, though. What's up, Billy Shy? There is zero incentive for him to plead guilty. I wouldn't say zero. For one, if he's a psychopath, he wants control. It would be his decision. You know, I'm driving this bus. Number two, the reason that he killed Abby and Libby was most likely so his wife, daughter, and mother didn't find out that he was a sexual sadist or a predator. Therefore, he wouldn't. If that's why he killed them, that would also explain why he wouldn't want to put them through a trial process. So I wouldn't say zero incentive. I don't know, Billy. Just calm down. It's okay. Why don't you give us your opinion, and we'll talk about it. Just relax. You know, we don't need the come on, guys. You know, just take it easy. Take a chill pill. You'll be okay. A couple deep breaths. It'll be all right. Well, we all deserve humanity. Being a U.S. citizen, it's just something that it's just it's just our way. It's just our way of life here. We don't care what you've done, who you are. Once you're in custody, you deserve your humanity because you are human. Now, it's just like the death penalty. You know, they try to do it in the most humane way possible. I think now they're using like CO2, like injected into your veins or something like that. I can't remember. Something really, really strange. But it has to be done in a humane way, not for them, not for the killer or these deranged maniacs, but it's more for us as a society. You know, that's who we are as a people. Like we have you in custody, you're not getting away, hopefully, unless you're like Ted Bundy. But there's no reason for us to chop your fingers off. Um, that's why things like chemical castration are a big debate. It's hard to get stuff like that pushed through. I'm a firm believer in that because these guys are repeat offenders. They're doing this because they cannot control themselves. So I don't know how you rehabilitate somebody who cannot control that part of who they are. Yep, me too, Charlotte. That's where we're all here to. That's why I created this platform. Number one, for any of the families of victims, if they want to use this platform, it's there for them. And number two, so that you guys can express your opinion. The only price you have to pay is listening, suffering through mine. And there's just a few rules. You can't act like a trigger troll. I don't care if you support Richard Allen. I really don't. If that's your opinion, we'll hear it. You're going to get a lot of flack for it, and you'll probably get a lot of criticism if you can handle it. And don't attack one another. You definitely just don't say anything about the victims' families. Pretty simple. Meth, I think meth might have played a part. I feel like Richard Allen may have been under the influence that day. I think he could have been riding a high. A lot of people see the bridge guy and they see somebody with a kill kit and premeditation written all over him. To me, I see a guy who is still on the 12th. Like his day is not over. He's riding a high, maybe. He didn't get any sleep. He's still wearing whatever he was from the day before. We're not looking at a guy that just woke up, took a shower, and said, "Hey, I'm going to go take a hike, at my favorite trail, the Monon High Bridge Trail," and then just got triggered. And no, I feel like we're looking at somebody who was in a moment of chaos, and it's spilling over from the day before. Vic says you can smell the stale beer in the bar. Yeah, you kind of can, huh? And tobacco. I don't know, Rain Dancer, if that's the gun on the right side, which I think it is. I think that tells us he's right-handed. Is Richard Allen right-handed? Oh, that's a good point. Let's go take a look at that. See, now you guys are putting on your sleuth hat. Yep, he's right-handed. I'm right-handed. That's how I shoot pool. I don't know. Some people used to tell me it was backwards. They said I was an ambidexter. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that means ambidextrous. Definitely not ambidextrous, but certain things I do backwards. Like sometimes I shoot backwards and I play pool, but I'm right-handed and that's how I play. Left hand forward. So yeah, if Bridge Guy is right-handed and it appears that Richard Allen's right-handed, I mean, most people are right-handed. I'm not saying anything, but I mean, that narrows it down a little bit. Hey, Sandy Majors, welcome in. I think he better plead. I think that he will. For simply just to regain control and to spare the only people he cares about. All the reasons why, but I do think he's guilty as fuck. Me too. Me too. Yeah, so to act like he's incapable of crossing that creek, this dude is nimble as shit. I mean, he caught some air right there. He's a good 2 feet off the ground. Like a fish. Flopping around. The further this goes, the more I don't think we'll ever know why. Yeah, I think he'll kind of dangle that in front of us for the next 10 years after his conviction. Welcome in, Howard. Keeping an open mind, I answered yes because I believe Richard Allen is complicit. And also, I went to the police here in town. Oh, really? I'd like to hear more about that. Did Teresa get back to you about which of Richard's rights were violated? I'd like to see you and her debate that. No. I mean, it's obviously a touchy subject. But I'm pretty sure it was the fact that he was sent to prison without having his attorney. But I mean, when you're in custody, they're going to do what's best for the prisoner and for the jail. The lawyers doesn't need to be. You're already in custody. You know, it's like saying you need your lawyer for them to make any decision about you. Like, oh, you're going to go see your doctor today. Oh, well, I need my lawyer. And also, Richard Allen at the beginning, he said that he was going to get his own attorney, and then wrote a letter saying that now he's at the mercy of the court. So, I mean, it's either that or the fact that he was kept in solitary confinement. But the reason they did that is because they needed 24-hour surveillance on him. There was a safekeeping order for him, and he was making threats against his own life. And anybody that wants him in jail while he's making threats to his own life, they don't care about Richard Allen at all. Because the main threat to Richard Allen would be Richard Allen at that point. And that's not just me saying that's statistically speaking. And that's also jail versus prison. Yep, Stephanie, the why is not going to make sense. It's going to be something like I was stressed out. You know, I've had these weird fantasies. I don't know why I did it. You know, I was taking my anger out on them. 9 out of 10 times, go watch any of these confessions of these psychopaths, and they don't have any criminal history. They just happen to be fantasy driven, and then, you know, they call it like this darkness that I was able to control that day. I wasn't able to control it. Sometimes they refer to it as a demon. Yep, I agree with you, Crime Jester. 100% on that. Frontless image not to scale. Which image? Talking about the one I said was 50 feet away. Yeah, they hate feeling shame. That's why you always get like a partial truth. You know, they never tell. They'll tell the whole story, but the little parts that make them look disgusting. Yep, that's true. That's one thing I've learned. Yeah, I think so, TJ. I think we did. He spent extensive time in the military. So he's had the training. He knows where to hit. He knows where to hit you. Because I've looked at a whole lot. I've heard from a lot of military people. Typically, they train you with a bayonet, but when they train you, they train you to strike here at the carotid artery. Both girls, that's where they were hit. Yeah, and that's the only reason they can arrest him, Chopper, is with probable cause, and that has to do with the unspent bullet, and then his own testimony. Or during the interview, he said they asked him, um, "Has anybody had your weapon? You know, did you let anybody borrow your gun, or have you had it in your possession this entire time?" He said, "Nope, I've had it this entire time. Nobody's had it." So right there, there's nothing else for them to investigate. There's nobody for them to go question about it. Like, you're it, guy. You're the guy we've been looking for. This is the one piece that we've been looking for. Now we have probable cause to arrest you, whether or not you want to leave or not, whether I told you could leave or not. Right after you made that statement, that's all we needed. So I might continue having a conversation with you in hopes that you will confess. But as of right now, regardless of what I told you 5 minutes ago, now that you've made that statement, you are 100% under arrest, regardless of what I said before that. But if you want to keep talking, I'm going to keep trying to get you to confess. But yeah, now no matter what, you can't leave. Even though I told you 10 minutes ago that you could leave, now you can't. Now you're being detained. Yeah, you might be right, caricature. Yeah, let's drop all that crime. Matter of fact, I'm sick of hearing about it. That's not what we do on this channel. Girl said something. I think I think that could be possible. You're looking at somebody like a runaway train. And, you have these girls, they're teenagers. Mike Patty said, prior to this crime, that if they saw somebody that looked a little bit odd, they might, film them and then kind of make fun of them later. So maybe that's what they did. And also, I did an interview with the guy, JP, who was, he was kind of like an online suspect. 4chan had kind of tracked him down, and I was able to get an interview with him. And he was somebody that was there that day also. He showed up at about 3:30ish. And if I had to guess, and he worked at Subaru, so I feel like the part he's not telling us and the part he doesn't want to talk about is that he may have been there with the Subaru crew, maybe doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing because he was married at the time. But eventually he was interviewed, and he said that law enforcement asked him, "What were you? Were you out there taking photographs and the girls made fun of you and you snapped?" So that was one of the questions that he told me that was asked of him. So if you put that together with what Mike Patty said about the girls filming them, and then combine what we heard about the video of them saying, "Is that creepy guy is he still following us? Did they film the creepy guy? Is that why they were filming him? So maybe they did make a comment to him. Yeah, purple. That's not what we're about here. Are you going back to the Jerome Grand Hotel? Ooh. I don't know, man. That was some really creepy shit. You want to talk about a spooky experience or a little ghost hunt at the Jerome Grand Hotel? But what a beautiful town. I don't know, maybe. Maybe. The white object sticking out of the top of his jacket, I believe, is a white graphic design from the black hoodie taken from Richard Allen's house. Yeah, it could be. He could just have it kind of pulled up like this, up over his face, kind of like that. And then when he went out to the bridge so that he can smoke a cigarette, because I think the bridge guy has a cigarette in his mouth, he kind of takes it down. I just don't know why does he have his face covered? You know, that definitely goes into the premeditation of it all. Like he had bad intentions. Why else would you have your face covered? Maybe he was going to maybe he does drugs at the trail and he just didn't want anybody to recognize him. He's walking by the three girls, he covers his face. And then once he passes them, he just kind of lets it fall down. Yikes. Anna Melodies, the way that some YouTubers have decided to make money is to come up with the craziest web of possibilities and point to corrupt law enforcement. We even have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah, we've learned a lot. Like the David Kallenberger case, Holman is leading that investigation. And we had bomb threat B. Phillips come forward and confess that he was part of getting rid of the body. He named everybody that was involved. It's been made public. But Holman and nobody from the investigation has come forward and admitted that publicly. So who knows what they know? They're going to tell us what they want us to know. There's nothing more important to them than the investigation and getting an arrest. Well, actually, not only that, but getting a conviction. Oof, imagine learning you got dumped through a murder podcast. Yeah, you're in prison and you get a letter or a call from the murder sheet. That'd be fucked up. You're right about that, TJ. Mark says, how can we discount what Doug Carter said about being very complicated? Sometimes that's just what they say, right? What case isn't complicated? What murder case would you not call complicated? You know, when anybody's asking you detailed questions and you can't give it to them, you know, that's like it's like a reflex. Oh, it's very complicated. I wish I could tell you, but I can't. You know, it's more of like a political thing to say, political statement. Hey, what's up, Phil Bond? That whomever it was on the bridge, the girl said something to him and he snapped. Yeah, I think that's possible. All right, guys, we're going to close out this poll in about 5 minutes. So if you guys want to participate in it, looks like a lot of you don't agree with me. Then I might be the last holdout. But the question is, do you agree with me that Richard Allen will plead guilty before the 21st or even on the 21st? I think that's a Monday. So I'm thinking at the very least, they're going to go through jury selection, opening statements. We'll have that that weekend. And then if he's going to do it, it'll be at that point in time. Whether he gets a deal or not. No worries, Frankie. He didn't snap. He brought a gun and a knife. Well, it could have been a box cutter that was already in his jacket. And he may carry a gun with them all the time. There's a lot of people that carry on a daily basis. I understand it's just my opinion, but how does brother get Cook on his UTID? What do you mean, Cook? I think you lost me on that one. Yeah, you guys got to remember I'm way behind on the chat. So when I get to you, I'm already like 10 minutes behind. One time I listened to Rick Snay. He was bragging about having the crime scene photos and others can't. Made me sick. Yeah, we're not too concerned about what other channels are doing here. We're not here to attack other content creators or talk about it. We're here to look at the case. We could care less, what they're doing and what they're up to. Hey, Anna, there you are. Notorious cases in states that allow more open info have fewer issues than the Delphi case with Indiana's various gag orders. None of us question arrest of Huerman, Koberger, Daybells, or Stearns. But I do cover plenty of cases, Anna, where they do have gag orders and they do have the probable cause affidavit sealed for as long as possible. This isn't the only one. It's not like a special case. Welcome in, Lacey. Says, surely Kathy must know the truth. I don't know, guys. I just don't know about that. I don't know. I can't say. You think that she would, but I mean, if right now somebody told me that my wife has just been arrested for murder, you could show me all the evidence you wanted to. I just don't, there's just no way to believe it. But people who are capable of committing a murder like this, they're also capable of a lot of manipulation. They could be like a chameleon. They can have a whole nother life that they're leading in this weird fantasy land. So if he is the killer, I think it's very possible he could have kept that from Kathy. And her just not wanting to believe something like that, it's just weird. People are weird. The human element is a strange variable. What's up, Jason? Rain Dancer, you might be right. And like I said, we don't need a deal for Richard Allen to plead guilty. Because either way, he's not getting the death penalty. So what's the worst they're going to do? Give him life? Even if they made a deal for 40 years, that's still his life, right? He's going to die in prison. I think he has like a heart condition or something. And then I was trying to prove something to himself. If he was impotent, as I believe the motive was sexual. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, the timeline in the Koberger case, I mean, sheesh. Very telling. Vile leprechaun dance. Personally, I don't think Richard Allen's body proportions equals BG's. I believe a number of other people were present at the trials during the crime. Witness testimony is not necessarily accurate. Yeah, I mean, you don't need a witness testimony. I'm looking right at his image there, and it looks just like him. Not only does it look like him, he's wearing the same jacket. And that's just my opinion. Hey, what's up, Redfoot? I personally think BG's jacket looks more like windbreaker material. Yeah, like the one behind me, right? Or better yet, this one. And they seem to match. The only reason that he says it's a Carhartt jacket because he still owns the Carhartt jacket. Like, yeah, I was wearing a Carhartt jacket that day. That's why everybody thinks I'm the bridge guy. But I still have the jacket. Go test it. It's the same proactive approach that he's been taking from the beginning. All right, we're going to end this poll here. And we're going to get out of here in a few minutes. Tim Perry, welcome. I'm fairly certain that the jacket is a lined, oversized golf-style windbreaker over perhaps other thermal layers. Yeah, it does appear to be oversized. I don't know why he likes that jacket so much, but it's got these really poofy arms on it, just like the bridge guys. I mean, look at it. It's a very specific type of jacket. Yeah, definitely not Ron. Howard Cook says, on his disability and insurance mail, and just a month ago, guessed because I needed to see it with my own eyes, drove him down to Walgreens, and he transferred $1,500 to someone online. No, I think I'm lost on that. Shoot me an email, Howard. Give me some context on that. If you guys need to reach me, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. Vic, are we 100% certain there was no essay? That's what it sounds like. If we've learned anything about the cross-examination recently of Nick McClelland of Dawn Perlmutter, she is the expert, the ritual expert that was brought in by Richard Allen or his team. And during his cross-examination, he said, well, what if he confessed that essay was the motivation, but that he killed them before that was able to happen? That's what McClelland said. You know, he also in that same breath brought up the box cutter. And he asked her, like, if you knew that he confessed to those things, would you still have the opinion that you do? And she said yes. And then he accused her of being locked in because she did an interview on court TV, like not too long before her testimony, that she was 100% sure that it was a ritual killing. So he's saying you basically backed yourself into a corner. And no matter what we say, you know, because of the sake of your, you know, your business and your future consulting endeavors, you're never going to change your stance regardless of what the evidence says. Jason says Ron's coat ain't green after he pukes all over it. Trust me. What does that mean? It's just my opinion, but I believe it's my brother's voice. Oh, that's how I know you, Howard. Okay. Yeah, I remember communicating through you via text with the whole Vegas stuff. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about all that. I mean, and we don't know for sure, but I mean, look, Richard Allen's wearing the jacket at the end of 2016. He's going through a rough patch. He admitted to being there. He admitted to possibly using a box cutter. He has military training where they focus on the jugular vein. That's where the girls were attacked. I mean, he fits the profile, in my opinion. And from the beginning, I always thought Bridge Guy was a shorter guy, a short, stocky guy. And even the witnesses said he was shorter. So, shorter than 5'10". Put a pair of boots on him, a hat, and a hoodie. That puts him at about 5'8". If you had to recall, you know what I mean? Roxy, and you could be right. You could be right. It may not be his first time. He did a lot of traveling from what we've been learning. It doesn't go together. The new tale that Richard overslept, etc., was still in bed when wife returned in the evening, and him going to police to say he was there. What the heck? Yeah, and I mean that box cutter could even just be like in a pocket inside the jacket. You know, you open it up and he could have a pocket there, and he keeps a box cutter. Those box cutters are easy to just put anywhere. They're very thin. They're very small. I mean, I remember when I worked at Walgreens, they would get boxes of them. And when we got trucks, just like they have at CVS, you know, they have truck days. Um, you would cut open this box and you would start handing out box cutters. Psh, psh, psh. I had like 10 of them at my apartment at the time. Michael Myers versus Jason Voorhees. All right, guys. Sorry I couldn't get to everybody's comments here. Let me zip on down. Lacey, has anybody ever heard Richard Allen's voice? Yes, here, let me play it for you.
Rick. Cable snapped. There's the wheelchair coming up. Guys. Downhill. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Rick. Guys. Downhill. Cable snapped. There's the wheelchair coming up.
I called his phone and his phone said, you know, this he just said Rick, and I recorded it and I compared it. Thank you, Zoe. All right, I want to give a special shout out to Sensei for the super chat. Very generous of you. Thank you again, Julia, for your continued support with that super chat. Zoe, always being very generous and gifting memberships. Make sure you guys say thank you for that. Alex, always good to see you. Thank you for your support. And TJ, I really appreciate it. What's up, Frank? Welcome in. All right, I'm going to zip down all the way to the bottom. Yvonne? I don't think that would cut very deep, very small amount exposed of the blade. Yep, I agree. And from my understanding, that's what we're dealing with here. I wouldn't call it superficial, but something that doesn't appear to be too deep. And you wouldn't need to go very deep right here on your neck to hit that artery. Hey, what's up, Bogey? Says he was switching between a box cutter and a knife. He can't stab with the box cutter. The girls weren't stabbed, from my understanding. It was a slicing. It was like slices. So I'm not sure what you mean by stabbing. And if he had a big blade, I don't think he would just target that one area, you know. Knowing that he had just a box cutter, that's where you would want to target. That's pretty much the only place you could target, really, you know, without risking anything. That or maybe the inner thigh. All right, let me go to somebody that I missed. Hey, Hiawatha, welcome in. Good to see you. Then Mint, welcome. Roxy. I do not believe that he was being treated any worse than anybody else at Westville. Well, I mean, they had him in solitary confinement. But once again, you know, that was for his own safety. They had to monitor him 24 hours a day. That would suck, don't get me wrong, but it's better that than him hurting himself. Yeah, Miranda, it is vile. And notice it's those people that talk bad about Abby and Libby's family. You know, they talk about Carrie's past drug abuse issues and stuff like that. Like, why are you talking about that? Kelsey, you know, she was a little bit odd, you know, in her interview with can't remember what his name was. But she was kind of laughing, kind of silly. They made fun of her for that. Like, oh look, she's a psycho, you know, she had something to do with it. You know, it's those people who are there supporting Richard Allen and complaining about his rights, and you know, they're the same people that are really supporting him. They have that in common. You're not going to find anybody that's supporting Richard Allen that didn't at one point think that Ron Logan was guilty, and at one point wasn't trying to bring Kelsey, Mike, Becky, Carrie, Derek. They all have that in common. So if you're like me, you can see the pattern. The jail door slamming changed Richard Allen. I think so. Oh yeah, Jason. Yeah. You know, they're facing final judgment. And let me ask you this, why would Richard Allen need to find Jesus to finally be with his family in heaven? Like you need forgiveness, right? To make it to heaven. If you didn't do anything wrong, why do you need forgiveness? Hey, True Crime and Other Stuff, welcome in. Sorry if I missed your guys' comments. Mother of Dragons, it's good to see you. I'm going to kind of zip through here now. So I apologize. Support with Stefa, welcome in. Good to see you. Candy B. Came in late, lurking. Thanks for dropping a comment. Hopefully I got everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. Beth, always good to see you. Looks like you've been in and out. Yeah, that's a good one. I wouldn't know how to answer it, though. I think it's possible. Fresh fish. I ain't supposed to be here. That's from Shawshank. Gilletta, please tell me what evidence you have that makes you certain, and I'm not certain of anything, that Richard Allen is guilty, and I'm an anarchist for not being certain he's guilty. Hey, if you want to twist my words around, that's on you. Looks like somebody's a little triggered. Fan bashes are going to say when it legally comes out that this dude was Googling this stuff. Yeah, when he confesses, I mean, it's going to be a little bit strange. I'll do my best, not to say anything about it, but Fretless. I like that name. Fretless Mayhem. That's a good place to start, Chopper. I mean, I did put it right in front of her face, but she's obviously not going to listen to me because I apparently triggered her with the word anarchist, and that certain people believe that the whole system is corrupt. So I know projection when I see it. I'm not going to say that, but you keep putting that damn song in my head. Psychiatrist on YouTube did an in-depth description of Chris Watts. Interestingly, a lot of psychiatric information could be applied to Richard Allen. Yeah, and that's kind of where I try to go with all of this. Dependent personality suggested for CW. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I think that's a good example. Maybe even Scott Peterson. All right, we'll do a couple more. Let's go to purple. I'm still on the fence too. Gilletta 1 will be until hearing both sides of the trial. I'm not a Richard Allen fan or a fan basher. I like to and question all sides. Yeah, but you're also not a cheerleader either. You know, you don't talk shit about goal. You know, you don't talk shit about the whole process. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Like goals in on it. It's her and Nick versus, it's all of them versus Richard Allen. It's that kind of shit that I'm referring to. Like trying to make this this weird Hollywood movie script about the whole system being corrupt and Richard Allen being a patsy and they planted the bullet. It's that kind of stuff that's silly. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's very healthy. What's up, Big Fish? Good to see you. Lena, what's up? Cheryl Bullock. None of your business. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. Sorry if I missed your comment. I really apologize. But I am out of time. Veronica, Route 661. Oh, Blind Squirrel. In my opinion, Richard Allen exposed himself to Abby and Libby as he was walking towards Abby and Libby on the bridge. And the girls recognized who it was. Maybe. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it. Good to see you. Yeah, that's the truth. We've heard a lot of these child predators come out and discuss publicly, once they've served their time, they're trying to be what they call rehabilitated, but they talk about targeting people from broken families. And that's kind of, Libby was a good example of that. Both parents kind of struggling with drugs, being adopted by their grandparents. Maybe even getting spoiled a little bit, you know what I mean? Being allowed to be all over social media at a young age. Like this kid's had it rough. We're going to take it easy on her. But that is a target. Predators look for those certain things and they'll exploit it. You're 100% right. They did mention, is the creep still following us? Good to see you, Indy Cindy. Joni. Welcome. Hello. Gotcha. Sorry to hear about that too. But I mean, you did come in hot, so. But I am sorry to hear that happened to you. Hey, Kitty. What's up? Voted yes. Always good to see you, Kitty. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you. Replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment. We'll get back to you. If you guys need to reach me directly, You can always send me an email at sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And if you want to add to the conversation, we can continue it in the comment section. Oh, that was a very crazy case. Welcome in, Veronica. Yeah, Gypsy Rose. Yeah, that's a rough one. I think most of my viewers live in Indiana. All right, guys, until next time. Peace out. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure.